promises to be both enlightening and practical as we explore strategies for managing stress, especially with exams just around the corner. And for that, I am delighted to introduce our esteemed guest speaker, Dr. Ismail Issaji. We are truly honored to have you with us today. As a Maxwell certified behavioral analysis trainer and a seasoned speaker, Dr. Ismail is here to guide us through practical strategies for coping with stress. However, Dr. Ismail's dedication extends beyond certification. He is deeply committed to mentoring, coaching students and professionals across diverse fields. His passion for leadership and transformational coaching shines through as he excels in guiding individuals toward their full potential. I have no doubt that his words have touched the lives of countless individuals, paving the way for growth and success. And today, dear friends, we have the privilege of benefiting from Dr. Ismail's profound wisdom as he generously shares his knowledge on navigating stress and achieving academic excellence. So without further delay, let's give a warm welcome to Dr. Ismail Sachi. Thank you, sir. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Miss Bipasha, and for this laudable words of yours. And allow me to share my screen to get started. Let's dive into the subject matter. So you should be seeing my screen right now. Let me minimize this one and then put that into presentation mode. So you should be seeing, let me just cross check this thing first. Share that again. There you go. Now you should be seeing the slide. Okay, so welcome to this presentation or training or get together or happy hour, whatever you want to call it. I'm so happy to be here, and thank you for this for the team, okay, to have organized such a talk, okay, to talk about stress management. I don't know whether students of nowadays they are stressed or not, but let's talk a bit about stress management for students and how this is related to your academic success. Okay, let's get started. So, who is responsible for your success? A, the government, B, the university, C, your lecturers, or D, your close friends. So to answer this question, you can use your lifeline 50-50, phone a friend, or ask the audience. So you can put the answer, your preferred answer, in the chat box if you have some chat box around, or you can guess what is the most probable answer for you. It may change from student to student or from participant to participant. So okay, so definitely if you go deep into that, you are responsible for your success. It's not the government, it's not the university, it's not your lecturer. Maybe you would say we at times you give a lecture against PIM, but no, it's not about the lecturers. You have had students who have had very maybe bad lecturers, and the best thing is that if you have got bad lecturers and if you want still to be successful, you're going to be an improved version of yourself because you're going to go beyond what the lecturer are going to give you, or your close friends. So you become the average of the 5% you spend the most time with. So you need to know whom you're spending your time with. But again, it's not about your friend, because you can choose your friends, you can choose with whom you're going to spend the most on. So ultimately, the ultimate answer and the correct answer is you. Yes, you, the one who you see every day in front of the mirror, qu'on dit miroir, miroir qui est la plus belle, etc. It's you. You're responsible for your own success. Don't put the blame on each and everyone out there. Allez, ceci dit, so my introduction has been made. So here, just if you contact, if ever you need to contact me after that, maybe for any additional need that you would be. But let's dive into the subject matter. So we are going to talk about academics, about learning. So learning is a process, it's not an event. It's not that we are 2 weeks now from the exam and then say, oh, I think we need to trigger, we need to start the revision exercise. No, it's not like that. It's a process. You can do that, but it's not effective. Because these 3 years, 3.5 years, I think those in agriculture, I think they have, in food processing, I think it's 3.5 years, or engineering is going to be 4 years, or even more, whatever, doesn't matter. These training that you get over these couple of years, 3 years, 4 years, and so on, is what is going to pave the way about how you're going to respond on the marketplace. That's it. This certificate that you're going to get, yes, you're going to graduate taking pictures and so that's fine. It's good for Facebook and Instagram. This certificate, the paper, is just going to get you to the interview door. As soon as you open the door, it's become you again. It's about you. It's always about you. So then it's about how you can fare, how you can do well in the interview and so on. But still, when you start working, it's good that you've got the job now, you start working. It's not that at the near when you need to submit the assignment, you're going to get assignment. You're going to get not a similar assignment as you've got at university, but you're going to get things that you need to produce, things, yeah, maybe document that you need to write and so on. So you cannot wait for the last minute. So you will need to have a proper planning. And how do you get trained for that? This is what happened during the university life. It's not an event as such, it's the whole process. It's a training of the mind, the mindset, the body, the way you attack a problem and so on. This is what is the university is providing. That's it. That's why if you have got maybe not too performing lecturers and so on, that's good, because you are going to face adversity from the beginning. And then when you reach the final destination, yes, you are trained, you're a better person ultimately. So I have tried to identify some factors which can cause stress for students, if we can say it like that. So maybe time management, you don't know, maybe you have not been trained, okay, to be good at time management. But that again is not an issue. It's not about you getting trained, it's about you finding time, finding a tutor, a mentor to coach you in terms of time management. And that's why you need to, I don't know, when you meet these guys from the society, agricultural society, kiss them, okay? They have done a good job at least to get you a 1 hour training on, we're going to discuss about time management, okay? You're going to expose to what you need to know about time management for a student or even as an individual. How to learn. Do they teach you how to learn? They teach you what to learn. But have they ever taught you, or have you ever asked yourself what is the best way to learn? We are going to cover that, not in detail, but we'll have a couple of slides on that. I think a couple of years back, I had a session at the university again, a face-to-face one, where we talk about the different aspects, the different techniques for learning, and we are going to share one slide on that. Fear of failure. So what will happen if I fail? Nothing else. We have checked, it does not kill you, okay? But we are not here to fail. But if ever it happens, it's not the end of the world. Fail, F-A-I-L, is first attempt in learning. When I say fail, I'm not telling you to fail the exams. You can fail in terms of you don't succeed to get the full answers, the full grades, okay? Lo 50% kapag gen temps, figen ninjiperasi, whatever. It's a bit of failure. But fail early. Fail in the test, in the assignment. Learn from these mistakes, because failure happens once. If you repeat failure, it's stupidity. If you fail, you repeat the mistakes over and over again, expect that it's going to change for you. It's Einstein. So if you repeat the mistakes over and over again, it's no longer failure, it's about stupidity. Okay? So yes, fail early. Why? Tutorial. Fail in the tutorial. You don't know how to do it. That's good. You work it out. Work in groups, you talk to the lecturers, and so they're not going to give you the full set of answers. So you will need to discuss about your friend. They're going to give you tips here and there. Okay, it's about you to work on it again. So this is a type of failure that I'm talking about. Information overload. Oof. Right now, how much information? Nowadays, you have a good friend we call AI or ChatGPT. Okay, very good friend of yours, but you need to know how to use it. It's a very powerful friend if you know how to use it. So we have so much of information now, we need to trier. Because at my time at the university, not so long ago, and we don't have so much of information. We had to hide books in the university library, UoM. Okay, because 1 or 2 copies were available. That's it. Else we need to buy, to order. I don't know what to do. We had 1 copy. At times we photocopied, which is not the good way copyright in terms of copyright, but we had to do it. We lacked information, valuable information. But nowadays it's overload. We don't know how to tackle that. Okay, we are going to see that in a few moments. And then weapon of mass destruction. Maybe we're going to start with there, because all of you, you're smart people and you have what we call a smartphone. So it's what we call a weapon of mass destruction. Not destruction, but destruction. It's well written. So maybe this is where we are. I would say maybe at times me as well. But when we are creating this awareness, we should not be on the left hand side guy. We need to be zen. Okay, we need to be calm when the exams are approaching. We're not calm in terms of we're not going to do. No, we know what to do. We know there's a process. It's mentioned, it's not an event, it's a process. We know what are the different steps that we need to take to achieve whatever we want to achieve. That's it. We know the way forward. So anyone here know this guy? I can give you his WhatsApp number again, no issues about that. Most likely you would know him. Okay, the GOAT, we call him the GOAT, the greatest of all time, Cristiano Ronaldo. And how about this guy, Elon Musk? So what is the difference, or what do they have in common, these two guys? You would say they are very popular, maybe they are very freaky, okay, they have lots of money, okay, and maybe they are men as well. So how about this lady? Maybe you would be knowing her, okay, Gurmi and so on. So what do these people have in common? Yes, maybe they are popular, okay, and they have maybe, I don't know how much, what is the worth of Nora, but maybe she have some funds. How about this guy? Who knows him? Ever seen him around? Just check in your mind, check in your WhatsApp, check on Facebook. Do you know this guy? I don't know him. I don't know him personally. But the idea is, what do all of these people, we have shared only 4, have in common? It's not about the wealth, it's not about the popularity and so on. It's about they have 24 hours per day. Same as me, same as you. 24 hours per day, that's it. But how come people can make good use of that? I would say good use, I would say it's profitable for you. You can calculate the wage, not wage is calculated per week, but the pay of Cristiano Ronaldo per hour, per second, and it's a huge amount. Elon Musk, I don't know how, again, you can use, okay, you can calculate how much he's winning, how he's gaining per hour, per day, and so on. Nora as well, okay. But how come some people are so successful? Okay, if we can say this is success, one way of maybe defining success, but how come they are able to get so much in 24 hours and we 24 heures, vous regardez des films Netflix, vous carrez viser les temps pour là. Vous regardez un peu tout ça qui est dans le TikTok, vous avez affaire du monde avec un 9h30, l'arrive pas gouda pour ouvrir le TikTok. Vous check un coup de nouveau l'arrive à ce qui est là. Oh, this is how you use 24 hours. So the idea is we're going to talk about time management. Okay, and you're the Gen Z. So Gen Z is those who are born between 1997. Okay, we écrit là, je vais vous comprendre. 1997 to 2012. So you should be aged in between 11 to 25, 26 years old. You're the Gen Z, and you're the generation which is going to bring about change. I'm going to tell you that you are this generation that's going to bring about positive change, sustainability, and so on. So be proud of being a Gen Z, okay? But at times you will need to be aware about your loopholes. For example, 55% of Gen Z use a smartphone 5 or more hours a day. So if we say that we have 24 hours a day, just like Nora, just like Cristiano Ronaldo, Elon Musk, whoever you want to pick out there, if you use 5 hours of your day on mobile phone, yes, maybe you have some cue cards, you have some application which you're using for what we call revision work, that's okay. But these apps, they are free, n'est-ce pas? They have been designed, when they are free, you are the product. When something is free, you are the product. So ultimately they're going to have some pop-up of marketing. And this is what they're going to know who you are. They're going to record the intelligence inbuilt in these devices. That's what they call smart devices. They have inbuilt devices. They're going to cache your preference. You like football. Whenever you're trying to revise, you have got an app to revise and so on. They're going to say, hey, the big team has lost 3-0 yesterday. Do you want to see the goal? Do you want to see the reactions and so on? So you're going to watch it. It has been designed such a. So you need to be aware. I'm not telling you not to use your phone. You need to be aware about how to use your smartphone. Else you're going to say, where does time goes? Very inquiétant. Finalement, à soir too. Yes. It doesn't wait for you. It has been designed in such a way to lure you, to get you into using it, and then maybe spending your time doing things that you are not supposed to be doing as a student. Okay? And a day, and 26% use their phones 10 or more hours a day. I won't comment on this one because 55% using 5 hours or more is enough. You can comment on the 26% that are using that more than 10 hours per day. And then, what for? So, texting and chat, avoir un petit message, porter un petit vidéo, etc. That's good for your entertainment. Okay, when you have some free time, you need to calendar your free time. Okay, if I have some time, we can talk about that. But then, you need to know you can't be on that. You can't be connected 24 hours and 7 days. You need to know when you need to connect, when you are going to schedule your time for focus reading, focus work, focus revision, focus teamwork. You need to do that. We are going to see why later. Accessing entertainment, games. It's good you can play games. I'm not telling you not to play games. You need to. This is your time to play games. Okay? Pas que devine comment, moi que je parle de game. Okay? But if you want to play, you need to know how long you're going to play the game. Okay, how long you're going to do the school work. You're going to discover new things. You're reading books. Okay, and you're going to shop, buy Pagodalo, TikTok, etc. You can do it, but you need to know how to prioritize your things. Okay, so 71% of Gen Zers watch more than 3 hours on online video every day because there was Netflix on television. Nowadays, second papa peut envie de football, maman peut envie de tout aussi, l'autre peut envie de ça, le gain accessible à cette application Netflix ou pendant qu'ils ont fait, etc. You can watch it on your mobile phone. This is a new trend. But 3 hours, maybe once a week, which can accept it. But every day, continuously, how would that help you? Ask yourself. Allez, question for you. Who can put the words together? Tu seras pendu. We time. We spend time. Spend. So spending is just like you've got each fake passé, so you have 10,000 rupees, or tu n'as pas, tu n'as Ugadi, etc. So you have 10,000 rupees, 1,000 or 2,000 rupees. Qui nous fera? Partager money. No. We are going to use that judiciously. Ah, mon c'est ça, au blanc, tu content tout le temps, et puis elle monte, attends ça. Moi, je m'en dis, ça, tu gâtes là, I'm going to buy this and so on. N'est-ce pas? I'm going to buy a casing for my mobile phone. Because you know how to choose what to buy with the money that you have. But time as well is the same. And money, if it has gone away, money, you've lost it, you can regain it. Carguer plus encore. But time, one is tick-tack, it never goes back. So it's more than spending. It will never come back again. So choose how you're going to use your time judiciously. I just want to create this awareness today. Allez. Tip number one now. Let's get into how you can improve it. Eliminate distraction. Top most distraction is this mobile phone. Okay? So, look for a good corner, a learning corner. Okay? Learning happens in a specific environment that you're comfortable. C'est pas confortable, il fait chaud, etc. You're not happy, il va agacer, il peut faire, on vient à la toilette. You're never going to learn in this way. Eliminate all these distractions. On vient à la toilette pour 6 et 30 minutes, il n'y a pas de problème. Confident, let's say I'm going to focus to have 30 minutes of focus time for my learning. Eliminate all distractions. Peut-être à part d'ici, ferme la porte là, reste là, fenêtre, panique, etc. You need to have this ample time area like environment for you to be able to work properly. So eliminate all distraction. You need to know what are those distracting things. Okay. Then make your list. So what to study? What do you have? What are the modules that you have to study? Maybe it's a year-wise module or maybe semester-wise, I don't know. So you need to make a list. Pas dire, ah, il me la tête pas, là, me connais, moi pas casse la tête, me connais que tu étais. No. Our head, our mind, our brain has not been devised to store so much of information. It's meant to think. Critical thinking. This is what people are looking for nowadays. Employers are looking for people that saja 24/24 comme tac tac tac. No, kakati fi hastea. And she kakati 5 roupies dans quoi si be vendre, mais 24/24 comme. They don't want people to be like this. It's about people who can think critically, analyzing, understanding, see it from different perspectives. So our brain should be free to navigate in different directions. So what can we do? Whatever thing that you need to revise, aïe, un chapitre pas trop comprendre, petit année, paper, le sheet of paper, vendez un papier A4, vendez partout. L'université, c'est ce est capable de gagner. Sinon, what I love to do, I have a whiteboard at my place. One here in my study room at home. I have one in my office as well. I encourage all people who are being trained by me to get a whiteboard. It doesn't be a routine and cool whiteboard. Whatever we need to do, meeting, in a etc., put it there on the whiteboard. But then my mind is clear because I'm not, it's not like that. Everything is in there. This is number one. Nowadays, you can look for an app as well. So many apps that you can download, etc. It can let you do the planning. Good for you as well. But remove it from here. Okay? I love the whiteboard. Why? It's visual. Anytime you're just raising your hand, it's easy. An app, quand on rentre dans l'app là, on dit ça, un petit pop-up peut-être paraître, etc. Dites-moi, c'est une petite distraction. Et il est extra subtle. Ok? Il creep. Doucement, sans qu'il même te connaît. Tu gagnes une notification, tu gagnes 3 notifications WhatsApp, tu fini. But whiteboard, tu n'as rien là. Tu n'as marketing no whiteboard là. It's easy. So these are the traditional method, paper and the whiteboard. There's not blackboard and whiteboard sufficient nowadays. So make a list, and then we're going to prioritize this list as well. So what the statistics show us, you can increase your productivity and output by 25% or more from the first day that you begin working from it. So aujourd'hui les 12, tomorrow is going to be the 13th. Pas vendredi 13, c'est samedi 13. So if tomorrow you start working from a list, you're going to increase your productivity by 25%. It's not me who is telling that, it's research who tells you that. So it has been proved from people who are very productive. So what is tying you back? As from tomorrow, or maybe even tonight, as soon as we finish, okay, start working from a list. That's why when you go to supermarket, we have a shopping list. Because when you get into the supermarket, we have a promotion, what's going to happen? You forget d'arriver la carte. You bien c'est ça que tu as acheté pour acheter du bien, ou bien du bien de comme on prend format, 10 disait que c'est la promotion. You forget the essence. So work from a list. Pena aucun du mal là-dedans, pena aucun pour monter là-dedans. Okay? Then I don't know, tu fais qu'il y a eat, ben mange biryani, etc. Ce qu'on t'a mangé que ce salade coco, and then that's all. Pickles. So how do you make pickles? Let me explain to you. You take a jar, just like this one. You pour in oil. Tu vis de l'huile, tu remplis jusqu'à la aura. Après, tu prends un mangue, ou soit un fruit, tu mets sec de soleil, etc. Tu prends tes zètes là-dedans, tu mets un mangue, etc. Après, tu mets un petit peu là. C'est pisqué, etc. Tu mets ça là-dedans. Même qui fait un nom. Qui nous a fait un bon connaître? Non! Parce qu'on finit rempli de l'huile up to the rim. When you start putting the spices, when you start putting the mangoes, what's going to happen? It's going to overflow. Aïe, papa, des autres, pina place. You won't have space to add the mangoes. So, in your life, it's the same. We call that the pickles jar theory. We need to prioritize. You got the list now? Numéro 1, numéro 2, numéro 3. No, you need to know where to start. We have all of these high priorities. So, just like that, our priority is to add the mangoes first. This jar ultimately represents your 24 hours. You add the most important thing, the big thing that you need to do. There's a book written by Brian Tracy called Eat That Frog. frog, oui, crapaud. Ok, grenouille, monsieur, grenouille. Okay, yes. Eat that frog. Grenouille mange ça premier. So, if you have lots of frog, eat the ugliest one first. It's a book on procrastination, on time management itself. So choose the one. So choose those big thoughts qui se fait du procrastiner, qui pas content, faire nous pas nous va bien faire là. Nous parlons faire rapidement. So why not do it first? Those who are adding more value to us, avec l'examen qui est plus près, plus difficile, etc. These are our main goals. Put it in the jar first. Then we get dans épices, and then last, manchi vidéo TikTok, manchi résultat football, manchi etc. etc. Ça c'est man d'élever ça. Just fill in ban extra space qui est là. When we don't need that much of focus time, etc. This is what happens. We complete our 24 hours. We call that the pickles jar theory in time management. Okay, so the circus is around Zavata. They have not brought lions and so on, but no, don't worry. Okay, so I don't know who of you have been to circus, not maybe Zavata or whatever else, maybe. Okay, Mauritius or abroad, or you have seen a lion tamer just like this guy. Okay, so what does a lion tamer do? Why is a lion so afraid? He's going to obey his master. Why? And whip, n'est-ce pas? Whip in his hand and the lion appear. No, the whip is for the show. It's for the show. Fait la musique des oreilles. What happens is about the chair. When the lion sees a stool chair, il n'est pas montré, il faut préciser là. Il prend, il met sa quatre pattes là devant. When the lion sees all four legs in front of him, il peut se focus on which one is attacking him. He's focusing on all four legs at a time. What happened? A paralysis takes this animal. He's paralyzed of this. To so ban instinct that it has, il perd ça. He becomes weak. And then the master or the lion tamer can let him, he wants to make it sit on the stool, dance, whatever, the lion is going to do that. It's all about the stool. So this is what happens to us as well. Let's put that in our circumstance. What's going to happen? In a 4 modules là, vous êtes aïe, mathématiques, ça fait. What happens? We are just trying to focus. Gramatin, des temps prévu ça. Tantôt prévu ça. T'as une chambre, une petite 30 minutes prévu ça. We are focusing on different things at a time. When we focus on different things at a time, we are not productive enough. The idea is to get a chunk of time, maybe half a day, 1 hour, etc. paraît un peu trop short. Maybe half a day on one module. You take a break, second half of the day you choose another module. But don't put bits and pieces here and there, etc. You're going to say, I'm going to faire dans des jours. If you do it like simultaneously, what we call multitasking, okay, computer capable to faire, but not human. We are best when we do one task at a time, which we call focus time. One at a time. Else we are just going to be like the lion, which is wow, but doing tap line, you are not able to do it. They have been able to master you, to tame you. So for us, it's about looking for this focus time. I know I have a list. I know how to prioritize my list. Now I'm going to focus on item number 1. Ça fini. Item number 2, 3, and so on. So, number 4 is focus. Et dans la thème, après, on va dire qui un petit peu plus camarade avec ban. Okay. Allez. So, who among you have ever tried this experiment? You take a lens. I don't have it, should be around. I have a lens somewhere around. I don't know where it is. Okay. You put a piece of paper or a dry leaf, whatever, in the sun. Okay. And then you play it, and then it's going to see. This is what you see here. Okay. The light is going to focus here, and it's going to catch fire. Why? If you just take a piece of glass, okay, and you put it there, it's never going to catch fire. It's about the same rays, same amount of rays. If you take a piece of glass, same size, you put next here, the paper is never going to be burned. But why, when we use a lens, it's going to burn the paper? Why? Those who have done a bit of lenses and so on, you know that when you use a lens, all the rays getting in is focused on here. So it's about the same energy that you have, same amount of time that you have. Okay, if you focus all of that on one specific task, you can burn it down. Burn it is about you master it, you have completed your revision, you're learning. Then you move to the next one. If you just take your piece of glass, 2 jours, 3 jours, 4 jours, 5 jours, 1 week, tu peux mettre le papier là, tu vas attendre le brûler là. It's never going to burn. It's all about focus time. Okay, so the sun rays do not burn until broad your focus. This is from Alexander Graham Bell.
One coca for me.
I think someone need to please background noise. Okay, so admin, if you can maybe mute these
Yes, yes. Didier?
so,
Allô, Didier, tu es moi? Ah, c'est bon, monsieur, désolé.
c'est bon. Merci beaucoup. So then we've got what we call your good friend Harry Potter. Okay, expectro patronum procrastinus. Pas existé ça peut-être, c'est un term that I've invented. It's about procrastination. What is procrastination? That's something that you need to do. No one is going to do that for you. You know that you need to do it, but you say tomorrow, don't do, I swear. But then it never comes. You're at the time, to the last minute. But ça vite vite. You have been through that. Everyone has been through that. Okay, so we need to eliminate this, what we call, or you need to master, you need how to go above procrastination. Okay, so how can we avoid procrastination? It's about, again, the list. Let's start from the beginning. We got the list, everything that we have in our mind, we put it on paper. Our mind is clear. We prioritize based on the needs, the timing, and so on. Then we look for the focus time. What happens then? You know, you have a plan. Before constructing a house, what I've got a piece of land, must post block. No, we have a plan. That this is going to be the garage, the kitchen, and so on. You have a plan. Same for your learning. Okay, it's good that I think you have 2 weeks before the exam. This is going to be the last week of study. Then you have 1 week for study week. Revision week, I think. Then you have, so you have ample time to plan your revision appropriately. Okay, so procrastination is thing that you don't like, just like eat it right away at the beginning itself. Okay, don't wait for it, don't. Now that maybe at times it is in our subconscious, but now since we are talking about it, we are going to make conscious decision to avoid this procrastination trap. It is a trap. Allez, next one now. Ah, monsieur, long syllabus, pas comprendre, non, monsieur, je sais même pas le du tout dans la classe. D'expliquer, pas comprendre, non. That's good, as I told you. So what can we do? We have a technique which we call the Swiss cheese technique. So what you have in the background, fromage, okay, from Amsterdam. I love that. So we have a technique which we call the Swiss cheese technique. I don't know who among you here love cheese, Kraft, whatever. Okay, you love cheese. I remove it from the packaging, packet. I remove the aluminum foil. Who can do that? No one will be able to do that. So basically, if we slice it, we grate it, we put that in a plate, and then click into Netflix and football, etc. Oops, fini. Tu manges un paquet fromage, oui. Qui fait? It's easier when you have split it into smaller, more manageable parts. That's why any syllabus is split into chapters. Week 1, 2, 3, we're going to discuss on that. 2, 3, and 4, we're going to do that. It's the way. That's what you call the MIP, Module Information Packet, whatever you call that, and so on. So this is what you have. So you need to organize your chapters. That's why I say maybe you're going to have half a day. You're going to have a look at chapter 1, 2, and 3. Maybe chapter 4 is very complicated. I've got n full days for you to say. It's about this should be part of the planning. So we call that the Swiss cheese technique. Break your big task. We don't know where to start. The big cheese. You'll never be able to get started. When we break it into smaller, more manageable tasks, then you know, I'm going to start with number 1, chapter 1. Get started. It's about getting started. When it's too big, Aïe, papa, quand vous commencez à te faire, malgré ça, vous avez des panadol. No, if you split it, I have done chapter 1. And you're going to see what's going to happen when you complete chapter 1. As per your plan, things are going to change for you. So this is for, and this technique is not only for time management, it's used for in project management as well. Over there we call that the work breakdown structure. So very powerful technique. All these 5 tips are very powerful technique that can be used in stress management or stress planning. We talk about time management and in projects as well. So this is what happens. You've completed chapter number 1. Yes, as per my plan, what's going to happen? Our body is controlled by hormones. Vous connaissez plus bien que moi. Okay? So quand vous va m'aider, ça fait toutes ces affaires, ça m'aider, it's about hormones, n'est-ce pas? So when you have been able to, and after you plan it, you've been able to complete it on time. What's going to happen? Your dopamine, wow, I'm the best. I've been able, oui, mon study, when commencer, I've started the process. Remember, it's a process. And then you get motivated, internal satisfaction, you get self-motivated. And this keeps you going. That's why it is important to get started at least. So when you see the big thing, you procrastinate. When you split it into smaller parts, you did the first one, wow, let's proceed. You are motivated and you get going, you get the momentum rolling. So get started. Okay, so we are controlled, we are a product of our hormone. Don't forget that. So that awkward moment when you know you're forgetting something, but I don't know what we are forgetting. So this is a bit counterintuitive what we are going to cover just next, because we say that I did not forget. I need to remember, but forgetting is part of the learning process. That's a beautiful thing about it. If you're forgetting, that's good, you're learning. If you're forgetting things, maybe your lectures, your notes and so on, it's good because this forms part of the learning process. Let's see that. So we have what we call the forgetting curve. Forgetting, it's absolutely normal. If you don't, you're not forgetting any things and so on, so you should look for a doctor. Okay? But if you're forgetting, you're a normal person. But then we need to know how to make good use of this curve. Okay, so you would see that after a couple of days, maybe after 1 week, even you paid full attention, you were very conscious in class and assis devant, oui monsieur, faites des devoirs, etc. You're going to forget 90% of what was covered in the class. Natural. It's natural. What will happen if we don't forget? The amount of information, no, how much of information would you be able to cram into your head? That's why the natural process is to forget. Because the brain don't know what is important, what is not important. Une grande tâche short-term memory. Après, allez, une caméra CCTV, puis record, puis allez. We need to tell them, hey, this seems important. How? Let's see that. So this is what we call recording. So that's why after 1 day, usually it's about 1 hour, but let's say 1 day, the same day that you have done, you have been to the lecture. When you get home, when you're traveling by bus, later on by metro, metro, okay, just have a look at the notes. Don't go through it fully, but just have a look at the notes. This is going to bring down, instead of it going in this direction, okay, at one point after 1 day, it's just going to pop it up again here. Or at times it can even, usually it's going to go higher, okay, then it's going to come this way, and then you revise again and so on. And at one point in time, you would see that this curve, okay, it's like here it was going to 0, here 0 and so on. But then if at one point in time, if you do 1 3, I think it's 1 3 7 or so, so there's one good, I forgot the correct process, but I have it in the on the other session that we did for learning style and so on, the art of learning. You can see the video on YouTube. So it's going to be here, so you're never going to forget, just like it is here. It's never going to be at 0, it's going to stabilize. So if you get this trend, that's why it's called réviser, getting it again, looking at the notes again, okay, and maybe writing things using an app, recall, practicing the recall and so on. Things are going to stabilize for you after some time. Maybe if you do this trend, if you do this process, you maybe not even need to revise prior to the exam. This is what science is proving you. So what can we do? What are the things that we have here which can help us in the process? So let me show you that it's learning reinforcement. We reinforce. We go through the notes over and over again. Mais pas faire tous les jours. You will need to forget. You will need to go through the process of forgetting. Then when you study again, it's going to go higher. So this curve usually should go higher, not stop here. Should go higher and so on. So the learning has happened. Spaced repetition. We call that also spaced repetition. After 1 week, after 1 month, and so on, you repeat over and over again. The part A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. No, it's not this type of repetition. Okay, we'll see why later. We are going to cover that. Media, videos, podcast, infographics. So I had the big task of teaching engineering student electrical machines at one point. So machine, motors, generator, and we had quite some girls in the class. So there is men and women are different. Pas évidemment pareil, le droit de vote pareil. Oui, in some instances you are the same. Okay, in terms of you have droit qu'ils ont. But in terms of the way we think, the way we see things, we are different. Okay, there's a book written, men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Okay, so another discussion we can have. So girls have difficulty in visualizing 3D things. Boys usually, when you're going to explain the motor, the stator, the rotor, and so on, the electromagnetic field, which are invisible, you can't see it. So usually boys have a better way of visualizing that. Girls, they have a hard time. So I had the task. I think there were 50 students in the class before me, and 40 failed. Only 10 passed the exam. So I was called to lecture this module the year after. I was not the first one who failed 40 students. Okay, so so I had 40 students from repeat plus 50 new students in the class, 90 students. And from the beginning, day one, j'ai tout pour faire là. We are going to fail. No. So then I make good use of YouTube videos to show, because it's visual. When you say it need to be in this plane and so on, but when you see that in a video in terms of animation, you have these available for you nowadays. Look for that. Okay, at the, like animated things and so on, 3D, you can see that, visualize it. And only 2 students failed, and I told them out of these 90, only 2 students, and at the middle of the semester I told them these 2 you're going to fail. And je vais là fréquenter deuxième liste de student union. Une fille dit engineering student you can't be in ça va d'affaires. Okay, je suis désolé dans nos autres ça. But whatever. So it's about, you can make good use of these things. Videos, quand je peux aller dans BIS, etc. Mais les petits affaires, mais tu plugs de mes 2 oreilles là. Earphone, headphone, comment ça s'appelle ça là. Mais un petit YouTube vidéo, tu as un petit paquet, ça a gagné. Ou ça, c'est download YouTube vidéo là, pas dans la case. Then you watch it in the bus. Make good use of your time. Infographics, c'est ça. It's colorful, it's plus intéressant. And then you have emotional connection. What is emotional connection? Think about your own, what we call experiment. That's why in universities, in your university, you have lab session. Why do we have lab session? Yes, to do practical things, okay, but then when you're doing it with your own self, you're connected emotionally to these things. I've been able to the connection, I've been able to cook this food, cook ça, etc., etc. Et là, je fais envie de manger burger pour le blé une fois, on est dans food science, burger pour le blé, pendant que je mettais là, blé mauve, tu me rappelles, quand on filme, on dit que on va apprendre qui est, whatever. So it's about emotional connection. So you are emotionally connected to what you did. You did wrong as well. Maybe you love having, everyone was having good fun in the lab and so on. These are emotional connection. It helps you to learn further. Examples relating to your own life, how you exemplify that at home, at work, in your own learning, whatever. Unusual, funny, shocking representation. Il paraît comique. Okay, you see most of my slide, it's a bit apart. This is what I try to impersonate all these things in the slide itself. And etc. I look for these visuals to help in the learning process. At times they forget about the real matrix, but they remember the slide. And from the slide, they get to remember the important aspect in there. Mnemonics and acronym, je ne connais pas mars quand c'est joué là. On va dire janvier, février, mars, tout faire, non? Le nous compte le nous ban on knuckles. Okay? So it is a way of learning as well. Acronym. Mnemonics, c'est aussi ban d'histoire que de raconter. Et now, teachers are going. Mnemonics, it can be, what are the, we have 7 colors in the rainbow. What are these 7 colors? So we have what we call an acronym or mnemonics. Run of young girls, boys in view. run is red, off is orange, young, yellow, and so on. So you have one to remember all the planets in the specific order. So all these are mnemonic, and you can invent as well. C'est un type un peu plus rapport. Par la avant. If you want a mnemonic, use ChatGPT. Get ChatGPT have these things to learn, generate a funny mnemonics, generate a sexy mnemonic, whatever you want. It needs to be funny. It's about remembering that. And when you get it, good. Teach others. Très important, very important. Maybe the fundamental is to be able to teach others. That's what is meant by group learning. Okay, so this is what brings us to the next slide. So just sitting around is a lecture, attending all lectures, 100% lecture on attendment. Même si vous participez dans class lecture là, monsieur. That's good. You're going to what we call passive learning. You're just sitting, listening. Because then when you need to read, if you're reading, it's going to contribute to 10% of retention, of understanding. Audiovisual, just like I told you to use what we call maybe recording. If you use YouTube videos or any website that you have some learning in there, is going to represent 20%. Demonstration, lab work, maman met code for the photo too. Demonstration, that's good. It's going to contribute for 30%. And we are moving from passive. Passive means we're not doing just sitting around to becoming active, participating. Oops, je vais trop participer là. To become participating, and when you start getting things done with your hand, you're participating, learning happen exponentially. So discussion with a team, that's why we encourage people to work in group. One of the skills that employers are looking for nowadays, not about I'm the best, no, it's about you being able to work in teamwork. When you tell critical thinking, it's about working in teams. It's not about the big man. No, it's about are you able to work in team? Are you able to contribute in team, to collaborate in teams? This is what's going to get you the job. Okay, so discussion, practice doing, additional practice. What you can do nowadays, you have even some applications apps on the mobile, or even some simulation that you can do for practice doing. And then, as we said, most important, to teach others. This is how ultimately I became lecturer. I don't always have time to just tell you this story because it's a powerful story. And so there was a module at one point during my time as a student called feedback control. Okay, again, it was a bit like you don't see things. Okay, you just need to understand it, and then you sit for the exam. And there were people in the class, the student friends, they couldn't understand it. What I did, I had the book Ogata, called Ogata. I read it because I love this topic. I read it and so on. I got the notes, and the lecturer put the notes up. It's just cozy. Whatever. I just took notes, etc. in the draft copybook. When I got home, I would read Ogata and try to decipher the notes. It's a constant information nowadays. And then what I did was I got the student in class again. I was teaching them this topic every time, every new topic in terms of feedback control. It's not about maybe it's one real thing, but I say, what do I have understood it? So what? Teach others. So I got 98 in this 98%. Okay, so I had 98%, 98% in this module, and all my friends as well passed the exam. They were a bit afraid whether they were going to make it or not, and they made it. That's good. But then remember, you're contributing to the energy, good energy in this universe, and there's a supreme force in there which is not going to leave you like that. This positive thing that you have contributed is going to come back to you, and it has come back to me in terms of this lecturer had to take what we call sabbatical leave. I don't know, I've already graduated and so on, and they had to look for a replacement. Who's going to do that? And they remembered there was a guy who got 98% in this module, and they called me. This was my first attempt at lecture, my first invitation to become a lecturer, and this is what kept me going. Nowadays I'm teaching at 4, 5, 6 universities, okay, locally, internationally, and so on, by online, whatever. So it's part of my life nowadays, lecturing. But how did it get started? It's about teaching others. And don't say that's not your problem. Just contribute to this energy. Adding value to people is going to come back to you. And I don't like interest, but it's going to come in the form of interest, is dividend. Now let's call that dividend as well. You say, where is it coming from? It was you who contributed to that. Okay, so this is a bit of personal development as well, but teaching others is so important. Okay, and you see, first it was auditory, you were just listening, you tend to forget. Then visual, you were seeing things happening. Kinesthetic, you're doing things, demonstration, demo, lab work, teaching others. And when you're going to teach others, and you expect questions, what type of questions they're going to ask you, and you prepare much better, and you're going to go to the next level, believe me in that. Okay, so we talk about the mnemonics and so on, word of young girls, boys in view. And so our brain can hold only 5 to 9 pieces of information at a time, moins peu moins. Okay, I tell you frankly, je me rappelle, je laisse des numéros de téléphone qui me rappellent. Pour moi, le numéro portable, transport qu'on peut déconnecter parce que je ne peux pas encore enregistrer. Et pour madame, that's it. And I don't feel I need to remember anymore. I don't find it so important. I prefer to use my recording power for more important things. My number plate of my car, I don't remember. Okay, I had the brake were wearing down. I got a message on the computer screen of the car I was driving, popping up. You need to take a rendezvous for an appointment for replacement of rear brake pads. Should we call, she says, should we call the agency? Yes, call agency. Téléphone Lille. Madame dit oui monsieur, etc. Bonjour, so I just got a notification that I need to change my rear brake pad. So can you book an appointment for you, monsieur? Rappelle-moi le numéro de téléphone, monsieur. Je me dis, oops, I was driving the car. Ok, mais mon père rappelle que mon numéro de l'auto était besoin. Mais c'est un coup de nier, non, monsieur, ça n'existe pas. There's a database. Je dis, okay, madame, I will call you back later during the day. I don't remember even my. That's why je get mon auto, so get circulaire. Avec quelque chose été de bagatelle, il y a beaucoup d'un grand parking, mon get circulaire, mon fini connaît. This is my car. I don't need to remember the name. So, our mind. Je dis, non, monsieur, je me rappelle bien, monsieur. 3 jours, c'est là que je demandais, que je dîner. Hier, moi, parce qu'ils aiment tellement brillant, etc. 3 jours, c'est là. Et pourtant, je n'ai apprécié. Waouh, tape la langue, c'est bien bon, dessert et tout. You forgot. 1 week back, what did you had for dinner? You forgot. So, remember, it's a natural process. Si je ne pas le rappelle, 20 ans, c'est là, allez, là, moi, je peux faire. No, we are not here to remember all that. Okay? So, it's a natural process. So, our role is to convert the things that we are getting short-term memory. We need to move that into the long-term memory. So, we work on that principle, the rehearsal. Okay, repeating over and over again, and maybe it's one, I forgot the correct, you can look for that. Maybe one day, on the same day, or within 24 hours, you need to go through the notes again. It's going to make it go up, and then you're going to forget. I think it's 1 day, 1 week, 3 weeks, and a couple of months, etc. After 4 to 5 of such what we call loops, okay, you're going to remember maybe 60 to 80% of it. Okay, and all these things, it's not about me inventing and wow, tapestment. These are science documents. Okay, so these are the guys who research on that, etc. So you can further look into that. Okay, pour guy là. So très important, it's not only about learning. In a beaucoup de jeunes, what they do, they cram things. Okay. Avec l'examen, dire, wow, on prévu ça, faut les guetter. It may work from time to time, but remember what I told you. We are in a process of preparing you for the marketplace. It's a process. It's a training that you are getting for the marketplace. If you don't follow the training properly, let's say you go on you want to become a military, you are in the military service, you do the push-up, tu dois faire du push-up, et il me paye comment, il fera 100 push-up là pour moi. Your friend, you pay $10, $20 to do your push-up, c'est les bras pour gonfler. Never. You need to go down and do your own push-up. You need to go through the process. Okay? Allez. So, but in the process of doing so, you need to have to give time for the body. It's a mechanism. Okay? It works in mechanics, les les pompes, distance, l'armée, les mouvements, etc. But you need to rest the system. You need to take some hours of sleep. So usually it's about 7 to 9. 8 hours, it's okay. Paraît beaucoup, oui, but you need it. to repair. This is where the dendriyo ke dalam latit ban nerve cell we have, they're going to connect. This is what makes intelligence. If you just apprendre lire, it's never going to happen. When you give it time to rest, this is where the learning, the memory is going to be connected. This is where the learning is going to happen. Not learning, but the knowledge is going to be created. So research shows that sleep improves memory retention and recall by between 20 to 40%. So lack of sleep, maybe a couple of days before the exam, etc., it may work once or twice, but we are not here for once, or we are looking for the medium to long-term success. Okay. I don't know if you know this picture. Je passe par là-bas, il est rentré dans une place là, avec got in, etc. Ever got in there? So this was our Google, our Wikipedia. I don't know what, I don't like Wikipedia, by the way. This is our only source of information. Un couple, 15 ans, 20 ans de cela. That's the information that we had. And if one student in the class bought a book, okay, an additional book, whatever, we had to photocopy, s'il te plaît, passe-moi ton livre, etc. Nowadays, you have ebooks. Trop beaucoup de ebooks. It's free as well. Beaucoup. Okay. So this was our source of information was barely available. I told you we had to hide books at the university just to understand that, etc. Okay. And then nowadays, what's happening nowadays? Okay, a weekly edition of the New York Times nowadays contains more information, and c'est l'édition of New York Times, more information that the average person was likely to come across in a lifetime in the 17th century. Just imagine, it's called an information overload, big data, and so on. So more information has been created in the past 30 years than in the previous 5,000 years. So we are creating information, generating information, okay, over and over again, and we need to be able to navigate in this overflow of information. It's tricky. So the number of documents on the internet doubled from 400 million to 800 million in double from 1998 to year 2000, and we are 2024. So let's see. I don't know. It's like billion. I don't know what comes after billion and so on of information, and we need to navigate through that and to know which information to pick, which what we call a reliable source of information as well. So this slide has been taken from the main ways by which we can learn, the learning process, the best art of learning. So number one is cramming. It is a technique, etc. Before the exam, etc. It may work for a formula, but not for the whole syllabus. So it's a method, but it's not recommended. Okay, and this is where you can have blackout. Rereading, nous répondons le livre, reading, hein, qu'appelle apprendre par cœur. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, fait la musique tout. Très bien, it works for ABCD, but in the exam at times you're going to twist the question. I'm going to kahani met twist. So what is this twist? Capable, on n'a pas l'ABCD, ska Z, K fait Z, ska A. Z, Y, X, après moi c'est bloqué là. Because you've learned A, B, C, D, E, F. So you can't do the critical thinking. You have just been repeating perroquet wise. Okay? Highlighting, monsieur, highlighter, important, highlight. It's about, for you it's agriculture. It can be law, it can be engineering. We are not studying art here. You have a pen là, watercolor. So highlighting is a passive technique. You think that you are highlighting important thing, but it's not a practically it has not been proved that is going to increase your retention power highly. So not a powerful technique. Your own note, now it starts becoming important because you're going to condense whatever you're going to get from the book, from the notes, from the what you have on YouTube, etc. You're writing your own notes in your own words that when you're going to read again, you're going to understand it. Now this looks interesting. Your own notes. Mind mapping. I won't have time to cover mind mapping. It's a powerful technique. I have a video on my YouTube channel how explaining this 5 minutes about how to make good use of what is a mind map, how to build a new mind map. So you can have a look at that. It's colorful. You can draw things and so on. It is very artistic and it's very helpful, very powerful as well. Space repetition. We covered that. This is number 6. Okay, 6 means that 8 is the best. Okay, 6 is powerful as well. Okay, and retrieval practice. Retrieval practice is you have two cards. I have a couple of cards here. Let me tell you what is a cervical cancer. What is a cervical cancer? So cervical cancer, I just remember. I'm recalling things. It's spaced repetition. I'm reviewing my notes. Here, dans BIS, je vais petit code, je vais écrire différentes affaires. 5 advantages of water in refrigeration. Ça. Ah, me oublié. Vous mettez ça dans vos posts devant. I need to check it out, me oublié. Et qui veut dire transmission and distribution. Ça, ouais, I know. Je recall. Retrieval. You're retrieving information from your database. It's a way of, remember, you are forgetting. When you retrieve, you go up. If you forget, you say, I'm going to revise this again. So you can do that. You can do it anytime, everywhere. Okay? Et aussi, pas oublier, il y a un apps qui à faire. Avec ce, des côtés que nous disons, you need to balance it, whether it's good or not, how to make good use of that. But the most important one, it's about teaching others. Group working. Each and every one, you have 4 friends. Each is going to prepare a chapter. Pas évidemment raconter un film qui est no, we are, yes, maybe 5 minutes. You have an agenda. Premier 5 minutes, meet and greet. Et correct, et bien beau. 8h05 à 9h, we are going to focus. You explain chapter 1. Qui t'en comprend chapter 1 là? You chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, etc. Good, you have an agenda to work. And you need to have someone to lead that. To stick on the time. Ok? Quand dialogue avec commence sans il va dans la direction et focus. Very important. It's about teaching, discussing with your team. So if you tips about the different techniques, and this is the best one, and this is based on research as well. Et très important to have the tools and technique. How to make good use, how to help us, because we have tools. Par exemple, our good old friend Microsoft Excel. Just get onto Excel. We are going to use a Gantt chart, okay, which is going to have a list of activities and then the timeline when we are going to revise. So you go into Microsoft Excel, you get into new, you type in Gantt chart, okay, and you're going to have this one. So you click on it, it's going to generate something like that. So I use that for my thesis student. For you, it's going to be maybe chapter 1, maybe it's going to be process control. Or maybe this is going to process control. Okay, so it's going to be chapter 1 process control, then it's going to be chapter 2, it's going to be refrigeration. So these are the different chapters that you need to study in this module. So you can break it into smaller part. Remember, Swiss cheese technique, to break it down to smaller part. If you're going to work in teams, who is going to be responsible? Etc. Progress, you can put it or not. What is the timing that we are going to? When are we going to revise? If it's you, only you are revising, you can skip this one. I'm going to do it on day 1 to day 2. You put the start and this is going to be generated automatically for you. Okay, so you have a timeline. You adjust. And while you're progressing, you can see you just put 50%. You just type in 50%. This is going to change. You see for 25% is going to shade it properly as well. Here you know whether you're on track. So you have revised in terms of how many you need to cover and what you have done till now, etc. So it's a way to track your progress. Remember, it's about putting it in front of you. It's visual, it's easy to understand. You know whether you're on track or not. Moving on. Dialogue.
इतनी शिद्दत से मैंने तुम्हें पाने की कोशिश की है कि हर जर्रे ने मुझे तुमसे मिलाने की साजिश की है। कहते हैं अगर किसी चीज को दिल से चाहो तो पूरी कायनात उसे तुमसे मिलाने की कोशिश में लग जाती है। आज आप सब ने मुझे मेरी चाहत से मिलाया। थैंक यू वेरी मच। मैं आप सबका शुक्र।
So what is he telling us? It's a part of the Bollywood movie. I think it's Om Shanti Om. But the message there is about if you want to achieve something in life, if you, the same guy that you are going to see in the front of the mirror, if you see you said at the beginning, you're responsible for your own success. If you want to achieve anything in life, you would be able to do that. It only depends on you. And when you try your best to do it, the whole universe is going to conspire to make it achievable to you. The whole universe is going to call it. You may believe it or not. It's what we call the law of attraction. I can prove it to you as well. Maybe another forum, okay, another discussion, we can prove the law of attraction. When you really want it, it's going to activate. We have part of our mind or our brain which we call the reticular activation system. We are getting sensors and so on. This one is going to filter the most important thing for you, and you're going to reach your goal. So the message here is, if you really want to pass any exam, etc., if you want it, you're going to work on the plan, what we have covered, etc. today, and then things are going to conspire. Energies are going to be rotating about you to make it happen. But if you don't want it, this is what's going to happen. School of whatever you attract, you say, no, I'm going to get 80% in this module. Yes, you're going to attract 80%. You say, you're going to get the pass mark. It's law of attraction, monsieur. Universal law of attraction. Allez. So you can use also visualization technique. C'est quoi visualization technique? You think about what do you want to become in life? You want to become a doctor, a pediatre, and what, an engineer, a lawyer, whatever. You want to graduate. Wow, je me fille que moi ça sur rose là, sur les talons comme ça, moi ça joli grain ça, 18 panneaux pas qui lens voilà, mais mon faire ça sur mon maquillage, mon faire mon cheveux, etc. Whatever you want, you visualize. You know what you are looking for, what you expect in your life. Okay, so visualize it, and if you want, you can take a picture. This visualization thing, it's not something new. It's a bit of law of attraction as well, but since the beginning, demande nani, nana, nani, daddy, etc. Ou maybe the parents un petit peu plus âgés, demande l'époque longtemps, du monde qui compte Dilip Kumar. Du monde ça au cancer. The wife que je fais, c'est quand j'étais enceinte, de prendre une photo de Dilip Kumar, ça radis scanner, je vais de la chambre, de la case, etc. There's good getting has des enfants qui ont très Dilip Kumar. Je vais rappeler rien, mais argument de mes grands-parents. It was like that. So it's about visualization technique. Il y a beaucoup de monde content de mettre une photo Lamborghini, etc. But not only visualize, you need to have a plan. Definitivement, when you get getting, you need to have a plan, etc. to make it happen. But it's so powerful. Visualization technique is going to give you the energy to move forward with that. So you can prendre un petit Photoshop, prendre une photo, de mettre le wow, and you're going to see the result in a couple of years. So what do you see here? A white pixel, no, a black pixel. What do you see here? It's a red pixel, n'est-ce pas? So, but if you see it in the big picture, it becomes hard. So successful people have a clear orientation for the future. We're talking about 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. The thing about TikTok, about why on TikTok, Netflix, etc., because research, as we mentioned, shows that Gen Z, they spend 5 to 10 hours per day on these devices. So delay gratification, you got gratification if you feel happy doing that, but it's not helpful for you in the long run, medium to long run. So delay gratification and make sacrifices in the short term. You're going to reap the benefit with dividend, believe me, in a couple of years. You have only 3 years or slightly more at the university. Make the most out of it. It's a training. Okay, understand it in the proper way and make your best. So you know that when deadline is good, l'examen là, what happen? Commence à réviser, après dire n'est pas capable. And when as a lecturer, when we correct, when you mark your script, we know it. We know who has revised properly and who has the line back clearly. Okay, so we call that the law of force efficiency. It's never enough time to do everything, but there's always time to do the most important. This is a bit about the prioritization. So look for what you need to prioritize, because you won't be able to do all the things around you. Okay, prioritize what is the most important for you. It's a bit about goal setting as well. Maybe next time we can discuss about goal setting, but do it as we've mentioned. It works. And then don't forget, pray. Okay, because you never know what happens in the exam. Okay, but usually exam, the way exams are set is going to be on recording power. Okay, no more open book exam. We are talking about closed book exam. Recording power, maybe 30% of the exam is going to be recording. Someone in Japan, etc., they're going to get 30%, but the remaining parts about effective application of the knowledge. Effective application, that's why ABCD, EZRCZ, quand les autres Z, Y, X, Petro connaît pas le faire en classe. No, just think about it. Okay, so it's about application of knowledge and critical thinking. Usually it's going to be like 40% to 60%. This is the balance. Okay, recalling, memory, and then what you have to use your brains to be able to get things done correctly. So this is what I had to share on how to stress less for the exam, for whatever you want to cover, whatever you need to do in your future. Okay, so recap. So first of all is to be able to understand that is a process, it's not an event. So on week 1, week 2, week 3, badine, holy party, etc. Ça c'est okay. Okay, but then things start to get serious week 4. Okay, so you need to understand the curve, the forgetting curve. One day, day 1, 1 week, 2 weeks or 3 weeks, etc. Then you need to work on the graph. Okay, things that you can work, use mnemonics, use bandit, etc. A working group, powerful group, okay, teaching or learning from others, etc. Get the books, get the correct source of information, because there's so many things around. Look for the correct one. We'll talk about how to beat procrastination. When you have a big chapter or big module to do, you don't know where to start, split it into smaller, more manageable parts, and you say, I'm going to do chapter 1 today, you plan it properly, you have a schedule, you showed you how to build that schedule in Microsoft Excel, then you monitor, you track your progress, and when you're happy, the endorphin gets into you, you're happy, you're successful, you can move forward. It's going to motivate you moving forward. So it's a bit about what we have covered, and then a few things additional to help you in terms of your personal development. Allez, so I understand that you have a few questions. I'm just going to go back to the admin. Okay, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a truly inspiring talk. I believe we have all learned a lot from you. Thank you.
So any question?
Danishka?
Yes.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. I am Dansha Skari, the Vice Secretary of Agricultural Society, and I will be the one asking the questions today on behalf of the participant. First of all, one of the most asked questions was how to deal with procrastination effectively and maintain a consistent plan of action. I'll leave the floor to Dr. Ismail.
Okay, good question, and this is one of the most important things. It's natural procrastinate because we try to put things for tomorrow, and there's a one saying which goes like tomorrow never comes. So the idea is I think I should have the ebook of Brian Tracy, Eat That Frog. Okay, and I have a version for student as well, should be somewhere around my library. So look for the thing that is important, okay, when you're going to prioritize your list, and you say, if I complete this, okay, I'm going to take 1 hour on what is your favorite pastime? TikTok, to watch a serial on Netflix, whatever. So if I complete this, I'm going to reward myself. Reward can be entertainment, can be I'm going to buy a Kit Kat, I'm going to eat a whole Kit Kat with bar, whatever. Okay, so reward yourself. So this reward is going to propel you, is going to motivate you to eat that frog. The frog is the thing that you would have put forward, procrastinated. So reward yourself, but you do it, and then you move forward. So it's about, you can use, you're trying to work on your mental to be able to reward yourself ultimately, to get good going, to motivate, and to, I think it will work. So what else can we do for procrastination? Eat it first, and then either the biggest frog, the ugliest frog, as he mentioned first, and then if you have the plan, and you know that I told you, delay gratification, things that is going to say it's because if you're going to procrastinate, you have other things that you're going to do right now. So will these, okay, become aware that will these help you in your ultimate goal, short, medium, long-term goal? If you want to graduate, you want to have a first class, you want to continue with an MSc, with a PhD, will that thing that you are doing right now, maybe I will just take the example of TikToking for 1 hour or 2 hours, will that help you in a couple of years for your interview, in a couple of years for your buying your dream car. Will that help? Ask yourself. Okay, things that can maybe change a bit of your mind, but the reward things works well for procrastination.
Thank you, sir. And the second question that we asked was, is there any app or tools that we can use to help to manage our thoughts and reduce stress?
Okay, so there are some tools that you can use. I prefer the whiteboard, or you can use any piece of paper. Okay, whiteboard is grand, you can write it, flash, etc. But you can use a piece of paper and write everything in there. All the things that you need to do. All the things, put it there. Then you plan it. It's about planning. And I don't know, maybe I'm from the previous generation, I would say. I still prefer the pen and paper. I'm still reading books, hard copy books. I have ebooks, okay, just for reference, but I still love to have this feeling of, maybe you call me post generation. I'm not from the Gen Z, but whatever. But if you prefer to have apps and so on, we've told you how to use a free, which is, you have Microsoft Excel, you can use the Gantt chart in there, or you have some apps in on smartphone, but the smartphone it's poisonous, harmful, still that you touch it. Okay, c'est inné, les fini build up in such a way, and notification pour entrer pour check Facebook, vous des notifications, c'est like mon photo, fini. You're going to go into astray, you're going to go into direction. And when I want focus time, what I do, my mobile phone is in the kitchen in another room. Okay, I don't put it in my study room, I'm focused. Right now it's here around because I'm on call, okay, for work, but it's just going somewhere else. So maybe I would advise that tools are important, okay, apps are important, but it's a bit tricky in terms of you can easily get diverted, distracted to something else as soon as you put your hands on the phone. So be careful about that. But what works well for me is the piece of paper where we plan it, and then you have what we call the whiteboard, which works for me, and the Gantt chart definitely for Microsoft Excel.
Thank you for clarifying this question, sir. Moving on to the next question, some students ask how they can avoid blackouts during exams.
Okay, so you can avoid blackouts by subscribing to CB, because we don't allow blackouts for the electricity grid. So most badly. Okay, so blackout, what happens for blackout? Most students have blackout. Why? Because these are students who are going to revise on the eve. It has been proven. Okay, most of these cases are, it can happen that you're not in the proper mood, pas dans le mood, and so not in the mood. It can happen. That's why we have, at times, even though we have an exam board which is ultimately to check whether we can promote the student and des trois points, etc. C'est quelque chose de, but 99% of students who are blackout, they are the guys who are revising on the eve. Ils crasent la nuit, okay, ils viennent tout la tête là. No, that's why I told you, you can remember only 5 to 9 pieces of information. Maybe he's a high flyer in remembering things. Il can rappelle 15. Il double 2. It's okay. Okay, but when it is time to start critical things, remember the remembrance is about 30 to 40% of the exam paper. Then you need to know how to apply the knowledge. The question, maybe you have never seen that, but you need to be able to analyze it and then answer the question. So this is where they have what we call blackout, etc. But most of the time it's about you are tired as well. You have not drank enough water. They have been on Red Bull or coffee, whatever, and then your system just crash. Okay, you have a certain energy level, and then ultimately you just crash. So this is a bit of physically, okay, emotionally as well, if you're not prepared for that. But in terms of the academic performance, blackout happens only mostly, I would say, due to poor preparation, okay, and maybe confiance en soi as well, I would say. And so how can we prevent blackout? Is to start, it's a process, start far from week 4, 5, 6, start the process, revising, going up, forgetting curve, going down, etc. and try it. You're going to see how it's going to work for you. So right now you have 2 weeks before the exam, prior to the exam, so maybe space it more regularly. Maybe every day you just need to go through that, and no need to go through the whole sets of notes. You might remember that one of the, I think, the fifth one in terms of the powerful method for out of learning is to write your own notes. Okay, so ultimately every chapter can be resumed onto maybe half a page. Okay, so then just having a look at it, or the cue card, or maybe a mind map. Don't forget about mind mapping technique. One chapter, it's one mind map. Ultimately, you can have the whole syllabus onto one mind map. Just having a look, it's a pictorial view of it. You can remember the whole, what we call chapter, or the whole syllabus. So these are things that, and then it can help you because it's pictorial. Mind map is pictorial. You just think about it. This was, etc. You can repeat it. It can help you in terms of blackout. But it's about learning. It's a process. There's no magic in there. Okay, you will need to learn. You will need to do the hard work. As I told you, the story which I told you, no one can do your push-up. You can pay them, but if they do your push-up, you can't expect your muscles to grow. It's going to be their muscles which are going to grow. Wow.
Thank you, sir, for shedding light on this topic. And the next question that we received was, is there any way to physically prevent ourselves from getting stresses before exams, such as migraines or stiff necks?
Okay, so définitivement, you can have un complément alimentaire that you can use in what we call omega 3, omega 6, omega 9. So very good for the brain. Okay, we need to have it a minimum amount in our daily diet. But the way whatever we are eating, etc., we lack it. So you need to complement that. So that we call supplement. Okay, we supplement our system. You need to learn, because nutrition plays a big role in how we are going. It's what we call, what you get in is what how you're going to perform. The skin, that's going to have the skin, everything, the hair, all of these are going to depend on what we are eating and the environment, etc. So if we want to prepare mentally to be ready for that, par contre, but what I know is about you need to take some vitamins. Okay, vitamins très important, et minerals. So if you don't get it, that's why you need to have what we call, you go to the pharmacy, you look for someone to recommend to you the proper minerals, etc. Vitamins qui sont bien important. But what I know is about the omega 3, 6, 9. That's very important for you, for the brain. Et même qu'on appelle longtemps la poisson, nous gagnons beaucoup, etc. But we are not consuming enough of this. Je mets dans ce poule qui met ça avec un piquet, il fait gonfler de 40 jours, soit tu pousses, il vient un gros poule. So, il est un peu hormonal. So, it's good, okay? Mais if you want to get the best shape to be in for the exam, so you need to look for a supplement qui est besoin. Enough sleep, très important. If you can do some sport, you need to do some sport, okay, at least 30 minutes every day. It's going to be très important. Il fait de penser, capable, go out of your bubble of studies, faire une petite affaire, faire un petit galopé, le treadmill, un petit exercice, go to the gym, etc. Il est important pour oublier, as you faire après, to get back to it, etc. Beaucoup de fois, you're thinking about a problem, I don't know how I'm going to solve it. Then you go to sleep, demain matin, you connais the réponse, ça c'est quoi? Okay? Because sleep, as I told you, it reconnected by neurons, etc. is going to make the knowledge comes into place about learning. Then you need to convert the learning into knowledge, and this happens during sleep. So you need to have the minimum 8 hours of sleep, not minimum, but 7 to 9 hours of sleep per day. Et ça, the food you're consuming, the supplément alimentaire, enough water. Our body is made up of 70% de l'eau. Our brain, we call it 90% de l'eau. So if we lack water, fluid, il peut finir restrict ça, et quand il restrict, puis il y a souvent une connexion qu'il y a, c'est à travers le fluide qu'il y a dans le cerveau. Okay? So then, if you restrict it, il n'y a pas beaucoup à fonctionner bien comme besoin. So définitivement, these are things that you need to work on properly. And I have a slide in the previous webinar, which I not a webinar, but it was a seminar at UoM on the art of learning. So I had listed all the things in terms of the health thing that you need to take on board for remembering things to help you in terms of memory, etc.
We have now reached the end of our questions. We want to express our gratitude for your time and insight, Dr. Ismail. Your expertise has been invaluable to us. Thank you.
I hope so. Merci beaucoup à vous d'avoir pris l'idée, et to do things properly on your side. It was not planned too much beforehand, maybe a couple of days, maybe 1 week, I would say. But thank you for doing that. It was my pleasure to be contributing, adding value to you. So, over to you.
Au revoir, monsieur. Merci beaucoup.
Bonne soirée à vous et good luck for your
Bye bye. Merci.